And welcome back to another episode of The Credit Authority. Once again, I am your host, Rhonda Kulch, and I'm so glad that you joined us today. We always want to start our show by thanking our sponsors, so thank you so much to Equity First. If you are experiencing credit and or financial challenges, feel free to reach out to any one of their trained industry professionals. They are bilingual and nationwide and waiting for your call. They can be reached at 631-714-4822. And to move this show along, we are with the amazing Matt Klein. Some of you know him through his music and others know him through his amazing work in the real estate community. So welcome. I'm so glad you took the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So, obviously off air, we're chatting about friends that we have mutually in common,
Yes.
which is the music. So we also know that during the day, really your career has been focused in problem solving and helping families that are experiencing distress with their homes.
Correct.
So tell me a little bit about Developing Dreams and really what your vision is with the company.
So Developing Dreams is, before Developing Dreams, I got asked to go into real estate years and years ago, and I really didn't want to do it. So I was kind of forced in. I like the idea of helping people because when I was a kid, somebody helped me. I was homeless. He took me in, and it kind of gave me direction to the person I am today. So when I was asked to get into real estate, it wasn't traditional. It was to help people that are in foreclosure. So we created a lot of short sales, and I've helped hundreds of people get out of the situation to where the bank's foreclosing on them. We get the bank to give them more time, and we give them everything that we tell them that we will help them with. If that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. So when somebody is in default in their home and they're facing a foreclosure, you're the real estate company, and you're also the side responsible for getting the short sale approved.
Correct.
When you're working through that process, what do you think the number one challenge is for clients that are experiencing foreclosure?
Well, every case is different. So it could be they have tenants in the house and they're squatters now, so it's dealing with the squatters, or they lost their job and they can't afford it, but they don't want to move yet because school year isn't over and they want their kids to graduate in their school. There is no number one response because everything I've heard 100 times. And every situation is real. There are people that do try to take advantage of the system, and we help them. We do what we can for them. But the people that are in dire need, like I'll give you an example. I had a gentleman, he had to be about 500 pounds, and his wife died, and he slept upstairs with 9 cats in his room. Never let the cats out of the room, so the room did not smell very nice. So I told him everything I would do for him. I got it all done. And a week later, he moved out of state, sent me a picture of his new driver's license, telling me I saved his life, that what I did for him is not going to go by the wayside. He's going to lose weight. He's going to try to do the right thing by himself and live a happy life, because the cats were the only thing that kept him alive.
I think what happens is that people need to know it's okay to fall as long as somebody's there to help pick them back up.
Correct.
Right? We were just talking about this with my other guest, and what happens is there's a certain level of accountability that goes hand in hand with working with clients that are in distress. They have to take accountability, create a plan, and have somebody like yourself saying, what else do we need to do? Because it's teamwork.
Yep.
You can't do it alone.
And a lot of, I don't want to bash anybody.
No, it's okay.
But, there's a lot of companies out there that will take advantage of people, especially in the Brooklyn and Bronx area. Don't get me wrong, Long Island gets hit as well. They are a real estate outfit. They specialize in short sales, and they get you to sign something, and you're not really following what you're signing, and they'll have you sign what's called a contract memorandum, which is basically you can't sell the house to anybody else, and they record it. So even if you went to somebody like me to help you out, when the time comes, title gets pulled, that's on there. And now we have to now deal with those people who don't want to let you go, or they want $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to come off the contract.
Wow.
There's a lot of scam artists out there. So unfortunately, a lot of people are sucked in because they don't know and they're in distress, and they're offering them money or whatever it can be. People don't realize the legalities or really what they're doing because they're so stressed that they're willing to sign anything.
And I've heard stories, and I'm sure you and I can talk about them at length, at another
Absolutely.
show, because it's horrible when you hear how such innocent people can be victimized so easily. And it's very, very sad.
Absolutely.
So from the market perspective right now, I work with a lot of real estate agents. I work with a lot of people in the mortgage industry. Our guests normally are centered around that financial real estate, center.
Absolutely.
When you're marketing right now, where are you finding that your clients are contacting you from?
Well, I do radio ads, which I learned from, actually, I started it with Gary's old boss, your last person. We came up with this years and years ago, and it worked really well. And then when I branched out on my own, I think it was December 2014. It was December 3rd. We did, my former partner and I, who I had left and ended up starting a company with, we did radio ads that day, and the phones blew up. We couldn't handle the calls. That was December 3rd. December 13th, we closed our first deal.
Wow.
It was an estate sale. But if, people are really listening, before COVID, we'd get between 60 and 150 phone calls any day that we did a radio ad. Now, people are still under the notion that they can hold off on losing their home, where it went from however many auctions a month to nothing because of COVID. Now they're up to, in just Nassau and Suffolk County, roughly 1,000 auctions a month. So people still aren't aware, and they'll reach out. Like, I could speak to somebody today and I'll talk to them about their situation. They're like, no, I'm fine. Next thing you know, 3 months down the road, they're being foreclosed on, and then they're calling me. Mm-hmm. And then I have to work a miracle, which...
It happens on occasion.
Yep, it does.
Does it make you feel like sometimes you don't want to help those people because you're angry?
I'm not angry. You know what? I shouldn't have to...
I get angry.
Well, I shouldn't have to ask people to let me help them. Mm-hmm. Because they don't pay me. So, it's not like I'm looking for them to pay me anything. If they want to fight to keep their homes, to do a modification, they have every right to fight to keep their homes. I'm not a big fan of modifications because it does put you in a worse situation, and your stress doesn't go away. Mm-hmm. Because if you miss a payment, you're right back to where you were, and now your mortgage that was $400,000 and you're behind $200,000, you now have a $500 and some $1,000 mortgage.
Yeah.
So you're never paying that off. So, but if somebody wants to fight to keep it, I will introduce them to the correct attorneys. I've been doing this for over 10 years. I have built an alliance, I guess you could say,
absolutely.
with all the right people.
We call it a power team.
Exactly. So I built a power team that I know the people do the job. I'm not going to just refer somebody who's going to charge you to do something and not get the job done. If I recommend somebody, they're doing everything they can. And, just real estate attorneys, I probably have at least a dozen that I trust with my life.
Yeah, there's a few. There's 2 or 3 that I trust that I refer my business to, because I think what's important too is that when somebody wants to save their home and they want to go down the route of modification, just because you want to keep your home doesn't mean you're entitled to keep your home.
I agree with that.
It's still a financial equation.
Yep.
So sometimes when we're speaking to clients on our side, we'll speak to them about the financial criteria involved with doing a modification and making sure that they understand that they may be renting, in theory, for the rest of their life.
Absolutely.
Because they're not building equity. And then if the modification's denied, then they realize that the exit strategy needs to be a short sale, and they can hopefully focus on their next chapter.
Absolutely. But unfortunately, so many people think they can do multiple modifications.
Yeah, no.
It's like when you apply for a credit card.
Let's just put an end to that theory.
Yes,
the answer is not really.
Absolutely.
I can never say never, but I'll say not really. So once again, we are in studio today. We are speaking with Matt Klein of Developing Dreams. Matt, how does somebody reach you if they want to touch base?
So there's 2 ways. You could call 833-5DREAMS. That's 833-5DREAMS. Or you could text DREAMS to 71441. That's text DREAMS to 71441.
I love it. And with that said, thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
for
us
having me.
today. Stay tuned for our next guest.